welcome to the call answering section of the Easy Storage Client Success Summit. This presentation will be about how a call answering service can help your facility. My name is Christian Thurgood, and I am the Chief Communications Officer at Easy Storage Solutions and the head of the call answering department.
And I'm James Thurgood, and I'm the Director of Communications here at Easy Storage Solutions. So today we're going to go over a few things. We're going to give just a brief overview of the benefits that you'll receive from using the call answering service. We want to talk a little bit about how the call answering service has evolved and also address a few misconceptions that are out there about utilizing an answering service.
So just a quick overview of our Easy Storage call answering service. First of all, I wanted to thank all of you clients that have been with us the last bunch of years that we've had this service, and you've seen us grow and roll out new and improved features, which we will go over here in a little bit. But for those of you that have not used the service or maybe haven't heard of it, just wanted to kind of outline an overview of what we do. So all of our agents here at Easy Storage Solutions are a USA-based team. English is all their first language. As I know that there's some concerns out there about whether maybe we send calls overseas or to people that maybe can't communicate with your customers very efficiently. That is definitely not the case with our call answering team. Another thing about our call answering team is that they will answer the calls specific to your facility. So they're not answering as a third party. They are answering as an employee of your facility. They will actually utilize your name when they answer the phone, or your facility's name when they answer the phone. And we're going to actually listen to a call that kind of shows that.
Thank you for calling Storage. This is Greg. Can I help you?
Yeah, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there.
So in that clip, you heard Greg answer with the facility's name, which is really, really helpful, like we've been talking about, answering with your name. You can tell that he doesn't sound like a robot. He sounds like he's right there on site answering. And just so you know what happens is when Greg's receiving that call, he can see on his computer that a phone call is coming in. He can see the name of the facility. So he knows what to answer with. As soon as he presses answer, the note page that we've worked with you to create pops up on his screen with the information that he needs. So he's able to answer with your facility name and then have the notes and information right there ready to take whatever the phone call has for him.
The other piece to that is super important and pretty cool really is something that separates us from other call centers is after we answer the call, like James was talking about and like you heard, we then have access to your Easy Storage Management software. And that allows us to be able to see that tenant's account and take payments for them, make notes, kind of see if they're past due, help answer any questions they have, give them access if they need online access, give them their gate code. So there's all sorts of things that we can do once we're in their profile that other call centers wouldn't be able to do. And that's kind of what sets us apart. Our main goal here is to save you time like we've talked about, and we do that by being able to take payments, process move-outs, and most importantly, we can do rentals from start to finish. We can quote prices of available units, help them figure out what size they need to be in, and then we can actually process that rental, collect their information, take their payment, and get them to sign the lease agreement electronically so that all those steps are taken care of that you don't have to worry about, and they can just show up and move into their unit.
And in our presentation later today, we're actually going to hear a call where all that takes place. So make sure you tune into that.
And another thing that has been really helpful during these times with the COVID-19 pandemic is call answering services in general have kind of boomed, but our call answering service also has been able to provide great value to our Easy Storage clients in this era where contactless move-ins and contactless customer service is so important.
Yeah, so we want to talk a little bit about how our answering service differs from like a general call center or a third party like Christian just mentioned. So some of the key benefits, Christian talked about it a little bit, but just the way that you can customize your service or our service to what you want. So, we're not here to tell you how to run your facility. We get as much information as we can from you before we start answering. And then we kind of just help you run your facility how you want it to be run. So, with expectations for us, we're only as good as the information that you give us. But the good thing with that is we can always change. So if we're answering calls for a while and you notice, oh, maybe we don't have the best directions for your facility, you can always update us. We'll update our notes, we'll update our team. And so we really are just helping you run the facility how you want it to be run. We're just taking the phone calls off your back so that you can focus on other things.
We want to talk now about how this service has evolved over the years. When I started this call answering department here at Easy Storage Solutions about 6 years ago, we definitely started out small. And as we've grown, we've done that by taking your suggestions and feedback and reviews and tried to implement those to help make sure that we're offering exactly what our clients need. We're always evolving, we're always growing, we're always very flexible to make sure that we can provide the service that is most necessary and most valuable to you guys. There may be times where we implement a new feature that you don't know about right away, but that's because we're making sure that it's going to work. We don't want to just make quick decisions and implement something that is going to affect everybody on a big scale without really knowing if it's going to be a benefit to you or your customers. But I can promise that we are always constantly looking for things that we can add and do to improve the customer experience for your tenants and also the client experience for you.
Yeah, so a couple of those features that we've kind of added and as we've grown. The first one that we wanted to mention quickly is our 24/7 pay by phone system, which is really cool. It allows people to call in and make a payment over the phone without actually having to talk to anybody if they don't want to. So people can do it in the middle of the night and not actually have to talk to a live person if they don't want. The other feature that we wanted to highlight is our automatic callback feature. And I'm going to talk about that in a different presentation that will be a little bit later. I'll kind of dive deeper into it, but essentially it allows a customer, if they happen to call and they don't even want to wait for 60 seconds on the phone to talk to someone if it's the busiest day, they can choose to keep their place in line and our agent will call them back automatically. The system does it for them as soon as it's their turn, as soon as the next agent becomes available. So that's a really cool feature. Another thing that we've added over the past, 8 to 10 months, as we've grown and got more employees and more clients like yourselves, we've been able to split our employees into teams, and then each team has their own team leader. So each team leader only has about 4 or 5 employees underneath them. But what this does is it allows us to kind of roll out trainings and updates to all the employees really seamlessly, because each team leader is just responsible for passing that info along to their few employees that they manage. So that's been really helpful. And then we've also kind of have a management team above that as well as starting a quality control program a little while ago, where we have people listening to calls every day and finding things that we can improve on, maybe things that we didn't know were happening, and just helping with quality. So having that new management team has really helped us out. The last thing that we wanted to mention is, I think it was like a year and a half ago, we started with a new operating system, a new phone system that we use to take your calls. And it has all sorts of reporting and data for us to use internally, but also to share with you guys. It's a really robust business phone system, and it's been really helpful, really awesome.
So, how are we different from just a general call center? That's definitely a question that we get all the time when we're talking to new clients or people that are inquiring about our service. A couple things that I just wanted to highlight before we get into that are some misconceptions that exist out there about call centers just in general. Most people, when we initially talk to them, like facility owners, especially facility owners that maybe are just starting in the industry, they have this idea that all of the phone calls that come their way are going to be from tenants wanting to rent a unit. While we all wish and hope that that was the case, unfortunately, it's just not. Now, it is true that if you're a new facility, the majority of the calls are going to be from tenants looking to rent. But once you've been established for a little bit and once you're kind of filling up, those calls die down and the calls from existing customers go way up. And what we found after collecting huge amounts of data over the last 5+ years is that 75% or around 75% of all phone calls to storage facilities in general are from actual existing customers, tenants that are already at your facility. So it's super important that those customers are taken care of and that customer service is a focus from your storage facility, because there's so much volume of people that maybe have questions or need help. Another thing that kind of wanted to point out is that a call service has to replace, or there's an idea in the industry that a call service has to replace maybe an existing manager, or has to replace what the owner is doing to run the facility. And that's just not true. We definitely don't claim to be better at running your facility than you are. We are just simply here to help. And we know that a lot of you maybe have other jobs, other businesses, a lot going on, and we are here to help take the day-to-day operations off of your shoulders, or at least lighten that burden a little bit, so that you don't have to worry about all of those current customers that are calling. You know that they're being taken care of, as well as the 25% of those calls that are coming in from tenants that are actually wanting to rent a unit. Another thing out there in the industry, or even just in ideas about call centers in general, is that a call service cannot be personable. And we actually understand that concern, but we have made a huge focus and a huge push to make sure that our guys don't sound like robots. Now, they do have notes that they can look at about your facility when a call comes in, but it's not a script that they have to read through every time. We want them to be personable. We want them to understand and ask questions of what the tenant actually needs, what they want help with, so that we can best assist them. I know that there are other call centers that maybe aren't that way. Maybe it is totally scripted. But that's just not the way that we do it. We want it to sound personable. We want the tenant to have a good experience and to feel like they're being treated like a normal person. Another thing that you might find in this industry and just in call centers in general is that they're just there, the agents are just there to take a message and pass them along to you. Now, we understand that that could be helpful in some scenarios, but for the most part, that doesn't really save you any time, because all that means is that you then have to turn around and follow up on those messages when you can find time. No, our goal here at Easy Storage Solutions with our call answering service is to take care of the things that we can take care of for you, so that you don't have to worry about it. Now, there may be certain things that you need to be notified about that we will definitely notify you of. And kind of like James said a few minutes ago, we would go through all of that with you, and so that we know specifically the types of things that you want communication on. What things you want us to take care of, what things that you want to take care of. And as long as that communication is there between us and you as the facility owner or manager or both, we can make sure that we are doing everything on a day-to-day basis that you expect, and that is the most valuable to you and most valuable to help save you time.
And like I mentioned earlier, we are having one more presentation on this call answering service a little bit later today. We're going to take a deeper dive into what the call answering service actually sounds like, what it looks like. We'll listen to a couple calls. So make sure to tune into that and get a better idea of how the service works.
So thanks for joining us on our presentation today. This was a quick overview of what this service does. And as James mentioned, he will be hosting another presentation that kind of dives deeper in and has some more specifics about what we can do to help you. If you have any questions at all, there will be a form that you can submit questions to. We also encourage you to reach out to our additional services sales team, and their information will be on your screen as well. And one thing I did want to mention, that if you do sign up for this service and you mention these presentations, you will get your first month free.